Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Light Council series. I am so excited for my guest today. She's a dear friend of mine, Jessica. But before I introduce her and bring her aboard on stage, for those of you that don't know me, my name is Elizabeth Planson. I am a soul purpose and soul gift activator, spiritual mentor and healer, and the creator of the Purpose and Abundance Activator Method, which helps dissolve your blocks, your limitations, and calibrates your frequency to your next level purpose and abundance that you're meant for. And I'm excited to share with you all that I have a free gift for those of you that are interested in booking a free consultation with me. You will get a catalog of all of my guests, my past guests, free gifts, which I know Jessica has a free gift that sounds amazing. She will share with us later at the end of the show. So make sure you stick around to hear all about that. You'll get her free gift today. But if you want the catalog of everyone's free gift, which is worth well over $1,000, make sure you book a call with me. The link will be down in the description. So that's all I have to say about myself. But now I would love to bring Jessica on and please tell us who you are. What is your favorite way to serve people, or how do you serve people? How do you love to help the world?
That's a great question. Okay, I'm Jessica. I love to say that I'm a nurse by background. And I did have someone the other day say, "How long are you going to keep saying that?" And I was like, you know what? It's just part of who I am. And I think it leads into my story of why and what I do now, because I am a healer. I love to help people. I feel like I am here on this planet for that reason. And so younger me didn't know how else to do that. And so nursing was that like natural fit.
Yeah.
So about 4 years ago, actually, it was 4 years ago in October, actually, way before then, I was just really starting to feel this wrestling inside of myself. Like, this is not exactly what I want to do, but I don't know where to go. I don't know what I want to do, but I don't think being in the hospital any longer is where I want to be. But instead of like leaving, because I this was my career. This was, and how I grew up is like you do your career for the rest of your life. That's just what you do. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. And so in my mind, I was like, there's just no way I can do anything outside of this. And so I ended up, long story short, quitting my career about 4 years ago when I was just completely burnt out, overwhelmed, which I now know was my soul in, I don't want to say competition, but like it wasn't in congruence with my body, my mind, where I wanted to go. And so it just led to a lot of chaos in my system. And I was constantly living in the fight or flight, like always on, always going, always doing, just because that's the lifestyle I was brought up in. That's, as a nurse, I worked in the ICU, so I was constantly having to be on.
Yeah.
But what was happening was my home life was suffering because of it. And so there was actually one day where my husband was like, I don't love to be around you. The kids don't love to be around you. You're always constantly crabby and just like going off on us. And that was a huge wake up call for me. And so that was one of the reasons that I did leave. It ended up being a while after that, but I finally got the courage to leave my job, but I had nothing behind me. I had nothing, didn't know what I was going to do. So it's taken me about a good three, almost 2.5 years probably to figure out like who I am and what I want to do, because leaving that left me with this huge identity crisis. I was like, who am I outside of being a nurse, outside of being, all the hats and the roles that you play, a wife, a mother, of all the things, like who am I outside of that? So now what I do is I am a coach. I call myself a transformative coach. I really help people from this place of being stuck and burnt out and overwhelmed and not knowing exactly where they want to go and what they want to do, to finding this life that feels more free to be who they want to be, to show up as they want to show up. And what has really helped me in that is like breathwork was one of the biggest tools for me. Someone introduced me to breathwork, or they kept talking about breathwork, and I ended up going to a breathwork session in my town. Absolutely was like, what just happened? I don't know what this is, but I want more of this. So
Mhm.
then part of you after I left was like, oh, is this just a fluke? Was that just like a one-time thing? I'm not sure. And so then the next month I found another place to go to that had breathwork. And same thing. I was like, wow, this is life changing. And so I found out where this person went to school for being a breathwork facilitator, and I joined the program. And so I became a trauma-informed breathwork facilitator. And that alone has just catapulted me on this journey and like my healing on finding who I am and where I want to go. And since then, I've done a lot more certifications. I've done TAC, so I'm like Kundalini, and I have a somatic certification that I'm just finishing up. So there's so many different pieces and layers to who I am now and what I bring to the world. But a lot of it stems from getting into the body through your breath, through a little bit of movement and things like that. So yeah.
Mhm. Yeah, I mean, so I'm also a TAC practitioner as
Mhm.
well. Both Jessica and I have the same mentor. That's how we met, and
Mhm.
it's so powerful, right? Like in the Kundalini yoga that we both practice and teach, incorporates breath work in such a huge way. And
Mhm.
for
Yeah.
someone like myself, who I was like, I don't like breath work. No, thank you. I tried it, and I was like, that sucked. Like, I don't want to do it again. Like, I don't enjoy. No, thank you. That's definitely something that I'm still growing in, right? Especially, so I may like also avoid certain kriyas, which are exercise
Yeah.
sets that have intense breath work because I'm like, nah, I don't want to do that today. Excuse me. So, what would you say to someone that is, I mean, breath work is becoming huge, right? Like it's
Mhm.
so
Yeah. Yeah.
transformative. But what
Yes.
would you say to someone that really hasn't ever tried breath work before, or maybe has tried it and it was just like didn't feel good for them, or because it felt different and challenging? Like, how would
Yeah.
you help them through that?
Gosh, there's like five different things firing off in my brain right now. I'm like, I want to talk about this.
Go ahead.
So, um, one thing I will say is I was told when all the things were happening, I was feeling burnt out, overwhelmed. People were like, just meditate, just meditate. So
Hmm.
for me, meditation was like what you're talking about with breath work. Try to sit and meditate. I would think of 5,000 things that I needed to do, or like, why am I sitting here? This is wasting my time. Could be doing other things. Or I would think of crazy things that happened like in the third grade on the playground, something just randomly weird. So breathwork has really allowed me to use my breath and focus on my breath to get out of my head, to get out of the overactive mind chatter that goes on there. Now, there can be different aspects to the breath work. So there are different types of breath work. There's ones that really activate you, faster breaths to try to just move through trauma, move through things, but they can also reactivate people. So I think something that's really important to know, especially if you are looking into going into a breathwork certification or something like that, is it trauma informed? Because one of the biggest things that I hear is that people get re-traumatized, or they feel like it's just too much for their system. You really have to find safety first before you can get into practices, before you can get into really healing your body. You have to feel safe. And if doing this
Hmm.
breath work isn't allowing you to feel safe, it's not gonna help you. It's actually going to do the opposite. So one of the biggest things that I do with people is really walking through safety. Like, how do we find safety in the body first? And that's also
Hmm.
what I do with my clients, because often people will come to me and say, I don't even know what I want to do, where I want to go. I can't even think of like what I even want to dream about. And it's like, you can't do that because you're so stuck in the going, doing. Your sympathetic is constantly firing. You don't know how to find safety, even in your day to day, let alone trying to figure out dreams, goals, desires, all of that.
Yeah.
So it's really, for me, what I have found is I do like a conscious connected breath. And I love to go slow because that's what I love. That's what my body needed when I first started. And so that's how I
Hmm.
walk people through it. And I actually just went to, there's a district attorney's office in a different county, down in Milwaukee County. And I've been doing breath work and sound healing with them for the past couple months. And the first time I came in there was only half of what the person thought would actually sign up, because they had somebody come in months prior. But what happened was the person that they had come in activated people and did the breath work that was super fast. And he was constantly like, she said it was almost like yelling at them to like, just keep
Hmm.
going, just keep going. And everybody felt so unsafe. So only
Yeah.
half of those people actually showed up for my session because they were terrified of like what it was going to be like. And so
Hmm.
now they've asked me to come back, and they're like, can we, can in 2026, can you come back like way more often? Because this felt so much more nourishing to our body and our system than the other person did. And I find that happens a lot. It's like people get so almost traumatized or re-traumatized through breath work. So it's really
Yeah.
finding the safety in it. It's really starting out slow and finding what works for you and the different breath patterns that work. Because there's so many different breath patterns, and what works for you might not work for me. And so when I've done this, I've done a lot of different like little resources and things. So one of them is I call 31 days of back to your breath, where we just do a different breath pattern every day just to
Mm.
try to figure out like, okay, which one works the best for me? And do I like it? How do I want it to be? And like just going through that, because it is hard. You don't exactly know what the best thing is to do and how to find that until you have a resource that you can utilize. So
Yeah,
yeah.
I love that so much. Like, just even knowing that there are so many other different options. So if one doesn't feel good to you, it
Right.
doesn't mean like it's not for you, right? Or
Yes.
like
Yes.
you suck at it or whatever. Like those are the thoughts
Yeah.
that like would go through my
Yes.
mind when I first started, and it was like, oh, and that
Yes.
makes so much sense because I've been in conferences too where like, there was a breathwork person and it wasn't a spiritual conference, it was a business conference. And these people, most of them have never done breath work before. And she was very much like that too, like, kind of yelling, like, keep going, like, you
Mm-hmm.
got, like, and
Yeah.
it was long. And I was like, this is intense for someone that's their first
Mm-hmm.
time, right?
Yes. Yes.
Like, it's crazy. And I love to, like, now that I'm, even thinking about it, like, when I first started developing my psychic abilities, the very first thing I did to quiet my mind was the box breath, like the 4 count
Yeah.
breath,
Yep.
work. And
Mm-hmm.
that's how I ground myself all the time and tell my other
Mm-hmm.
clients because it's such a simple, easy breath
Yes.
work, but
Yep.
it's still breath work,
It
right?
is. Yep.
And it's
Mm-hmm.
getting you back
Yep.
into your body. So I love that how
Yes.
you said that when you want to, get out of your mind and back in your body is doing a simple breath work practice. That's so powerful.
Yes. And it doesn't have to be, I think sometimes people think breath work. And what I first thought about it too was just these long 30-minute or 60-minute sessions where you have to be like laying down and constantly in the breath. And like it doesn't have to be like that. It can be 2 minutes that you take for yourself when you get up in the morning or before you go to bed at night, just to ground yourself, center yourself, come back to your body. And if people are like, well, what does that even mean? Sometimes I think it's hard to understand that if you've been so disconnected from yourself for so long. So I think that's why breath
Mhm.
work can be hard for people, because now you're getting into your body. And what happens when you get into the body is you start feeling things that maybe you've pushed down, you haven't allowed yourself to feel in a really long time. So there can be things that come up, but you have to also be told that. You have to be walked through that. It's not something where you can just throw people in it and be like, here you go. It's like you really have to do some groundwork first before you go into these bigger sessions. Yeah.
Yeah, and build up the endurance, right?
Yes.
Because
Yes.
you, like build literally it's building up your capacity for your lungs to
Yes.
and your diaphragm to stretch and be able to hold and breathe in deeper, right?
Yes. Like I tell people often, it's almost like you're training for a marathon, or if you were like in a bodybuilding or you wanted to lose X amount of weight by, 3 months or whatever it is, like that's what breath work and learning about breath work and getting into your body and finding safety in your body and allowing your nervous system to slow down enough just to sit still. Because often people are like, I can't even do that. I can't even take 5 minutes. And it's like,
Right.
that's okay. Maybe just take 30 seconds today. Maybe just take a
Mhm.
minute and then build yourself up, because your body doesn't feel safe yet to even sit in the stillness. So you have to find
Yeah.
that safety first in, can I just sit with myself? Can I sit with myself in the silence, just with my breath? And you're going to have to build yourself up to that. It's like, it's this gradual buildup. I know people are like, I sometimes people want the quick fix. They're like, I just want to feel better now. And breath work isn't like that. Like, yes, it can help you at times to get out of like if you're feeling chaotic and you just come back to your breath, it can instantly help you relax.
Mhm.
But in order to continue to feel this, it's like you have to practice it when you're not activated, when you're not triggered, so that when you are, you can come back to your breath so easily and like, oh, okay, I found my breath. And it was so much easier this time because now I've practiced it outside of when I'm activated, when I'm triggered, and all of that.
That's such a great point because, it kind of reminds me of something like I was trying to find techniques for my younger daughter to calm her down when she's in her, hyper aroused,
Yeah.
like like panicky state, or like throwing a
Hmm.
temper tantrum, if we put it bluntly, right?
Yeah.
Having a meltdown.
Hmm.
And, the person I was talking to was like, you have to teach them when they're not activated. You can't just try
Yes.
to teach it to them when they're
Hmm.
activated, because they're not
Yep.
going to listen. They're not going to want to even
Right.
try.
Yep.
And that's exactly, what was happening. I would try to like teach her the techniques I know, or try to calm her down with the methods that I know, if I couldn't physically do them for her, right? Because I'm driving the
Hmm.
car or whatever it is, and she
Yep.
wanted no part of it. So,
Yep.
yeah, it's such an important point, is like to have those tools in your toolbox, so that when you do become activated
Yes.
or need that kind of reset, you have them and you know them and you can go to them and you know that they
Hmm.
work.
Yes. And as a parent, when you start doing this work for yourself, you will, it's just amazing the ripple that it can have and like the effect that it can have on your household. I will tell you that I was a very reactive, however, whatever that word is,
Yeah.
person. Like that's how I grew up. I learned that. That's how I was with my kids when I was younger. And my kids are now 19 and 17. And so there's so much part of me that's like, I wish I could go back and do it differently, because I would have known all of this stuff. Because now if something happens, like, yes, there'll be a trigger inside of me and I still get activated and I still feel the feelings, but I have the tools and the resources to bring myself down so that I can talk from a calm place and
Mm-hmm.
taking a couple minutes of just breathing or just being in my body before I react. And so it's
Yeah.
just amazing what you can do for yourself, even if your kids are at this point where they don't want to hear about it and they don't want to think about it, they don't want to talk about it, they'll come back around. Because mine, let's see, I started this work about 4 years ago. So they would have been whatever that is, 15,
13
13
and
and 15.
17 or
Yeah.
something. Yeah.
Yeah. And they wanted nothing to do with it. Nothing to do with it. It was very silly. It was very. And now I will walk my daughter through it on the phone. Like we'll talk through it. My son will be like, "Oh, I know you'll just say just to breathe." But I'll tell him that before, like and he's like, I know how to do it. And I'm like, okay. So it's like they're using it, even though they thought it was very silly at first, so they didn't want to listen
Mhm.
to me. Now I know they use it, but it's like it doesn't always stick right away, especially if you're the mom. Sometimes
Mhm.
if they get to that age, they're like, I don't want to hear you right now. I don't want to listen to you. Like, what do you
Yeah.
say is dumb. You don't know anything, but they're listening and they can feel
Mhm.
it from you. So it's like when
Yeah.
your nervous system is calm and collected, they can feel that. And so they feed off of you. So once you come
Mhm.
back to them when they're reactive and you just come back in this calm state, like they can feel that and it helps them
Yeah.
regulate as well.
Yeah. And it's being in this state of regulation, but knowing that it's not a permanent thing. Like you're not going to stay
Right.
regulated
Right.
24/7,
Yes.
right? There's going to be those
Correct.
times we become activated, but it's
Hmm.
now we can get ourselves down like that, compared to
Hmm.
like we're just flying off the handle so much. And yeah, of course we're human. It still happens,
Right.
right?
Yes.
But
100%.
at the same time, you can catch yourself and you can bring yourself down so much
Yep.
quicker when you have these types of tools. So
Yes.
what other benefits would you say that is for breath work, besides,
Mm.
the obvious ones we've talked about, right? Like of the being able to stay calm and not reactive, and
Hmm.
being able to bring yourself down when you are.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, there's like the sciencey part of it, which I love too. And it helps so much with blood pressure, high blood pressure,
Mhm.
stress, like your cortisol levels, even losing weight, allowing that sense of safety, like we talked about before too, of just being in, like, I know sometimes people will talk about like sympathetic and parasympathetic. So your sympathetic is the fight or flight, the parasympathetic is the rest and digest. They're both great. We need them both, but we just don't want to stay in one or stay in the other. We want to be at this like nice neutral state. And yes, we can have the ups and downs, but we don't want to be way up here and we don't want to be way down here. And so our breath
Mhm.
really can help us bring this to this like nice even keel state. And then when we do go up here, it can easily bring us back down into like this nice even keel state. And so it just helps so much with how we function in our day-to-day life, like so in so many ways. I have seen so many people's lives change just from using breath work. I would say relationships as well. Like my relationships have gotten so much better with my husband, with friends, with just in general with my parents. Like I have learned how to let things go in such a different way than I don't think I ever would have done before, because it has helped me learn to just sit instead of being in this reactory state for so long, to
Yeah.
come back to like that logical brain. Because when we're activated, it's like we're going off emotion, we're going off like the sensations in our body instead of our logical brain. And so it really helps us get back into that state of like, okay, I can make a decision now from this calm place instead of this reactory state. So there's just so many beautiful benefits of breath work. Yeah.
Yeah, I would say another one that's always been big for me is being able to tap into my intuition on a deeper level and be able to
Yes.
like
Yes.
activate and turn on my psychic abilities.
Yep.
Like I said, like when I was first developing them, like that was like learning how to meditate, right? Because I was that person who was
Mm-hmm.
like, I can't meditate, like I can't
Yep.
quiet my mind. And it was when I did the box breath, and then I also do alternate nostril breath work, which is,
Mm-hmm. Yep.
activating both sides of your brain, right?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
And so like it's so, and that's like just by sharing this, it's like there's all these different ones, right, that you
Yep.
can use. Like I have
Yep.
one that I use with my clients called the collarbone breath work, and that's really another one to help bring you out of that fight or flight or anxiety kind of energy or something
Mm-hmm.
happens, or to
Yeah.
help reset your nervous system when you just are feeling frazzled, right? So
Right.
there's so many beautiful options. So like
Mm-hmm.
I guess, if you're someone that's new, right? Like know that there's can be such simple things that can help
Yes.
you to doing it.
Yes.
And so like if you were to give a newbie or someone that has maybe tried it and didn't like it because it was so activating, like a simple practice or tip or protocol like that they can do like, right off the bat, can you share that
Mm-hmm.
with us?
Yeah. Would you be okay if I just kind of guided us through, like we can close down our eyes for a moment and just like take a
Yeah.
couple minutes? Okay. Sounds
Yeah,
good.
I would love that. I definitely could use that after the
Yeah.
morning chaos I had today in
Awesome.
my house. Okay.
Yes. So obviously for your listeners, if you are driving, do not
Yeah.
close down your eyes. But if you're in a place where you can, sitting with some back support just so that you can allow your body just to settle in. So closing down your eyes if that feels supportive, or just doing a soft gaze at your lap. And let's just take some slow, deep inhales in through the nose, and then a slow, long exhale out the mouth. And you're going to continue this cycle of breath, this in through the nose and out through the mouth. And as you are doing this breath, we're just going to feel into the sensations in the body. So continuing that inhale and the exhale, and just noticing for a moment sensations that you might be feeling. Maybe there's an ache or a pain somewhere in the body. And just making note of it, not judging or trying to control or fix it in this moment, but just breathing here and just noticing. This is bringing awareness to our body. Often we are so busy going and doing that we forget to take time just for ourselves. And so our body actually speaks to us. This is another beautiful part of breath work, that our body speaks to us when we take those moments of stillness and silence. And so when our body can speak to us, it can tell us in an ache or a pain that might be happening in the body, and it can allow us to feel into what we need. And so as you go through deeper breath practices, you can really lean into the body and figure out what the body needs and listen to the body speak. And it might sound silly right now, but it's a beautiful thing that you can work up to. So continuing with this in through the nose and the out through the mouth, softening the muscles in your forehead, softening the muscles in your cheeks and in your jaw, softening the muscles in your neck. Maybe you even take a little gentle roll of your neck, maybe forward or backward, just to allow any tension or tightness that you might be feeling in there. Our breath has a beautiful way. Our exhale helps us to release things that aren't serving us in our body. So our inhale is a beautiful way to call in deepest dreams and desires, maybe a goal, maybe a vision, maybe just peace. And our exhale, without even putting force or knowing to it, just helps us to release what isn't serving us in our body. So continuing that in through the nose and out through the mouth, going down into the shoulders, down the arms to the wrists and the fingers. Just letting go of any tension, any tightness that you might be carrying there. And then coming back up into our chest space, our heart space, taking some breaths in here, breathing into the space that might feel tight. And then around to the upper back, noticing if there's any tightness there, seeing if you can soften it just a little bit more with the breath. And then going down to the lower back, and then around to the belly, softening with your breath. Just letting go of tension and tightness, allowing yourself just to sink into the surface that is holding you just a little bit more. And then going down your hips. We hold a lot of tightness and tension in our hips. So just seeing if you can soften through your breath just a little bit more. And then going down your legs, past your knees, down to your ankles, your feet, and your toes. And just softening all of the muscles, any tension that you might be holding there. And continuing this breath for just a few more breaths here, in through the nose and out through the mouth. And just noticing if there's any area that might still feel tight or tense. And this is your body's way of speaking to you again. If something still feels tight, maybe just focusing on that area, connecting your breath, seeing if you can soften it just a little bit more. Let's take one more big, deep inhale in here together. And then a big sigh out. And you can slowly come back into your body, maybe wiggling your fingers or your toes. Maybe you gently flutter your eyes open. And then just coming back to the space whenever you're ready.
That was beautiful. Thank you so much. I
You're
feel
very
so
welcome.
relaxed now.
That's something that I love to walk people through that just haven't allowed themselves to feel into their body or to do breath work or things like that. It's like if we can be guided through the body and through the breath, we can really connect in a little bit more. So if you felt like you haven't connected to your body in a while and you felt it, like that's what breath work can do for you. It's really beautiful. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I love how you create the visual and like going through the whole body and not just,
Mhm.
breathing in and out, right?
Yeah.
Like it's actually creating that visual for people so they can really connect to the body.
Yes. Yeah.
And you're so right. Just taking even like 5 minutes, I think that was to
Mm-hmm.
reconnect and calm your body, especially for
Yes.
me, myself, I've been on the go all morning long, like all day,
Mm-hmm.
really nonstop. I have not
Mm-hmm.
stopped, and it's been like that all week for me. So, this was such a treat. Thank you so much. I'm
Yes, you
so
are
happy to be
so, so
here.
welcome. Yeah, I mean, it's so interesting too because this is what I do, And the
Yeah.
other night, I could tell I hadn't done it in a while. I just hadn't been in my breath or with my body. I was busying myself, like you were just talking about, and my
Yeah.
body craved it. It's like now my body craves the stillness, it craves the breath, it craves the silence. And
Mm,
so I was able just to give my body a little bit of that last night. And it was like, wow, I just felt I had tears coming down, which is also beautiful, just something that can happen in breath work. Tears
yeah.
are a release. It is a beautiful part of just releasing something that isn't serving your body, just needs to let go. And so it's just really beautiful what can happen when you allow yourself that time and that space to just be in your body and with your breath.
Yeah. As I just hit a yawn, like yawning is
Yeah.
also a form of
Yes.
releasing,
Yes.
coughing. Like just so
Yes.
you guys know, if you start yawning like crazy,
Yes.
it's like it's okay.
Yep.
So
Exactly.
yeah, I'm not yawning because I'm bored or tired. No,
No, nope, I
it's
got it. Totally. I'm always like yawn, sneeze,
yeah.
cry, whatever needs to happen. That's all releasing. It's all good. Yeah.
Yeah, awesome. Oh,
Yeah.
thank you so much,
You're so
Jessica.
welcome.
Please
Yeah.
share with us, how do you work with people or how can people work with you? What kind of containers do you have and where can people find you?
Yeah. So I am actually the founder of the Wild Soul Collective. So you can find me on Instagram or Facebook on the Wild Soul Collective LLC it is, or you can just find me and my name. I have both accounts. I'm trying to turn everything over to my Wild Soul Collective because that's my
Mm,
new like business account. So I do a lot. I have a container coming out about devotion, about really being devoted to who you are and who you're becoming. And I do a lot of breath work and somatic work and things like that in containers. I also just do sessions with people, like if they just want to do coaching or they just want to do breath work or just do somatic work. I do all of that with people in one-on-one or group settings too. I do a lot of in-person stuff as well. I love connecting with
mm,
people and being in person. So I do in person and online. So
yeah.
yeah, yeah. So I
We'll
find
definitely share all of the links
yeah.
below. And was that the freebie, the devotion, or was it something else that you had to
So I
offer?
have a devotion starter kit, I call it.
There
So I
we go.
have
Yeah.
I have a meditation too, kind of like I just walked you through. It's like a 10-minute, I call it chaos to calm is the meditation, but then I also have my devotion starter kit. So I can give you both and people can decide which one they want to use. So
Beautiful.
yeah.
Yeah, so we will definitely drop all of Jessica's links in the description below, including her freebie. Make sure you get that and connect with her online. Thank you so much again
Mhm.
for being here today. I've so
Thank you for
enjoyed,
having me. Yeah.
yeah, of course, this conversation, and thank you for that beautiful breath work. So thanks again.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Awesome. All right, everyone. Thank you for listening and tuning in. Come back and rewatch this breath work if you can, when we're not able to experience it right in this moment.
Yes.
And we will see you next time on the Light Council series. Take care, everyone.